Getting a job in the game industry is no easy feat, and it is even harder if you are not from the country where the company you would like to work for is located. However, there are some things that you can do to increase your chances of getting noticed for that job. That is why in today's video, I want to talk about some tips that you can implement in your strategy to be able to get the job that you always wanted in the game industry, even if you're from another country. The first thing that you can do is to get a school degree in the country that you're interested in working. This is what I did back when I was studying. For people who don't know me yet, I was born in Mexico City, so I came to the US and studied a master's degree in order to learn more about game design. I made a video about my story, which I will link here in case you're interested. Getting a degree in the country where you're interested in working provides a lot of benefits. First, and arguably most important, you can network with people who work there while you are studying. This can lead to more doors opening up for you. Another important thing to mention here is that once you graduate, you are given a time where you can work without a work visa. In the US, this is known as OPT, and it is a permit to do professional practices in your area of study. The only downside to this is that it is only valid for a specific amount of time, and you have to get a job that sponsors your work visa or see if you qualify for other options that allow you to work in the country for longer in that time frame. Otherwise, you have to go back to your home country. Another benefit are internships. With internships, you have the opportunity of showing companies what abilities you have. If you end up performing well in this, you have a bigger chance of getting hired after you graduate. Obviously, nothing is promised or set in stone, but experience can go a long way in your resume and it can connect you to other people who might be able to help you out later on. If you don't want to study or you don't have the means to pay for a university, you're going to have to rely on networking a lot. One of the best things you can do to achieve this is going to events in the country where you want to work. During a pandemic, it can be tricky, but I still think networking via LinkedIn, commenting on threads that are thought-provoking, or joining virtual discussions is still highly valuable. For me specifically, I went to GDC and Indicate in the US, and in those events, there are numerous opportunities to network with people and talk with them about potential job openings they might have. When you do this, try to always bring business cards with you, as people in these events often meet hundreds of people, and they might forget you. Another thing that you can do here, if possible, is to bring your laptop and show them your portfolio or some games that you have been working on. If they see something cool, they are not going to forget you, and your chances of landing a job that way are going to increase dramatically. Which leads me to the next tip. Work really hard on your portfolio. Companies need to go through visa processes and work permits which cost a significant amount of money and time in order to be able to hire you. If they are going to do that, as opposed to just hiring someone who can work in the country without sponsorship, you need to really impress them with your portfolio and your work. Try going the extra mile and show them something specific to their company or work on a project for them that will give them a better idea of what things you can come up with. It's all about who can provide the most value to the company, and if you're competing with people who are citizens of the country, you need to do something to make you stand out more. Some people might think this is unfair, because you are demanded to prove more. However, I think working on your portfolio gives you the most bang for your buck because it prepares you for any opportunity that might come your way. Another way that you can look into is to offer to volunteer for them. In fact, I did this with a company that built games for kids because I wanted experience and I couldn't find it anywhere else. This can show the company your drive and passion for the work they do, and if you're a good asset to them, they might think about bringing you on as a full-time employee. You can also ask for contract work and see if they will be open to offer you something that you can do. Try this with smaller companies, as you will have a better chance of getting these types of deals, as opposed to huge AAA companies where there are more processes and rules around this kind of interaction. One thing that is important to remember is that you don't need to land your job in your dream company. As a foreigner, in my opinion, the most important thing you need is a job that allows you to stay in the country long enough so you can apply for residency. Once you have it, you can apply anywhere you want. Make sure that you don't rule out any company, even if it's not the type of company that you would like to work for forever. Back in the day, I was having a really hard time finding a job, and a lot of it was because I was focused on specific companies that made the games that I like to play. However, as soon as I opened my horizons and started applying to other companies that create different sorts of games like puzzle games, all of a sudden I started having more interviews and opportunities to talk to people. Another word of advice regarding this topic is that while you're looking for a job, please don't stop learning. I know that looking for a job can be really stressful and daunting, but pace yourself and create a schedule where you apply for jobs at a certain time and then you take time for yourself and enjoy things that you want to do. Also, make time for working on things to improve your skills. Maybe you get a course on Udemy, which you guys probably know I really love, or maybe invest in a book that teaches level design, so you can apply to more places later. The strategy here is to invest in your knowledge and skills, as this will give you more tools to eventually be successful at getting that job that you always wanted. And finally, I will say that above all, you need to be patient. It is easier said than done, as I experienced this back then, but hiring processes take weeks if not months, and there might be a chance in which you apply to a job and not hear anything until 3 months have gone by. You need to understand that people in the game industry are very busy and they have very limited time to look at resumes. Don't lose hope and keep working at your craft. Eventually, you will be able to get the job you want. I am going to leave you with a quote by the amazing Yankees player Babe Ruth that says, "You can beat the person who never gives up." This means that whatever it takes and however long it takes, if you keep at it, you will get there. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. What has been your experience applying to jobs as a foreigner? Please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. See you next time!